welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files. Hope you having a good night. Let's get straight to it.
This footage was filmed by Anita from British Columbia, Canada. The incident actually caused her to call the police. Her house is next to a highway known as the Highway of Tears. Since this highway was first completed in 1970, over 40 bodies of missing women were unfortunately discovered. It's not known whether these women were deleted by a serial killer or all of their deaths were individual. People have seen and heard the spirits of women during the day and night. As Anita captured the cries of these restless spirits, watch and listen to this.
May God rest their souls. I couldn't imagine living in that neighborhood. Shout outs to Nightmare Fuel. Yeah, this one was creepy.
Imagine you stumbled across an area that had human remains, shoes, clothes, pants, book bags, etc. And you were told not to go back through there because you're trespassing. So this guy right here and his girl, they were walking north of their property in Arizona. I guess they was going on a little hike or whatever, and they stumbled across what I just said in the beginning. And for some reason, his videos got taken down, y'all. Literally taken down.
For places that naturally hold water, and we found this little pond that's north of an arroyo, and this thing is filled with kids' backpacks.
Look at that shit, y'all.
And there's a mound here, and
there's a bunch of signs
there's more
of
backpacks.
wildlife.
You can tell people been digging up in that shit.
It's
There's backpacks.
I'm hearing that spot is near the border too, y'all. As you can see in that video, there were dirt spots that you could tell people was digging. And was probably in them holes.
Why we thought it was suspicious with there being a lack of a road, everything is women and children's. There was bones. When we found a femur and a lower bone that had been sawed in half.
Y'all heard what he said. Now he said he talked to the authorities and he told them what was going on. And he said they was like, that's strange. Nigga, that ain't strange. That's fucking crazy. I don't know, y'all got a bad feeling about this. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on this situation.
Yo, that gave me the chills for real. Shout out to Zay Reacts. It just really feels like this world is so wicked. Something's very fishy about that town.
Economic Forum was founded by Klaus himself in 1971, and it serves as a private membership-based entity which annually gathers global. The UK government. We may now know why Klaus Schwab abruptly resigned from the WEF after 50 years. And not gonna lie, it's pretty bad. Now, if you don't know what the WEF is, you probably never come across any conspiracy ever. The World Economic Forum was founded by Klaus himself in 1971, and it serves as a private membership-based entity which annually gathers global elites and facilitates closed-door discussions to shape the world's economic, social, and political issues. Just some of the WEF's 1,000 member companies include the heads of JP Morgan, BlackRock, Microsoft, Pfizer. Approximately 350 world leaders and senior officials attend each year. There's billionaire investors, representatives from global media outlets, leaders from bodies like the United Nations, International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. But if none of that rings a bell, some of their terms that you may have heard of include the Great Reset, or the phrase when they predicted by 2030, you will own nothing and be happy. So while the truth of the conspiracies that surround the WEF can be debated, why they exist in the first place is not hard to understand. However, on April the 1st, something major happened. The very person who has brought together some of the most powerful people on the planet for 50 plus years announced that he would be gradually stepping down over the next 2 years. However, on April the 21st, the same day the Pope died, he suddenly resigned, effective immediately. And at the time, everyone was like, what the hell? And no one really knew why. But now, we might. There's always been extreme allegations against Klaus Schwab, but they were often dismissed because of who they were coming from. However, as of today, the WEF themselves, the organization he founded, just unanimously agreed to launch an independent investigation into Klaus. And they decided to do this after anonymous former and current staff sent a letter to the board accusing him of almost everything: financial misconduct, ethical misconduct, sexual harassment, discrimination, and even manipulating WEF research. However, the key word that they say before the investigation is the word independent. And with the classic independent investigations that we've seen from countless corporations and non-profits, they are selecting and paying for the investigators themselves. They set the scope of what gets looked into and what doesn't, and who investigators can speak to and who they can't. And most importantly, they control how findings are released, if at all. So while yes, all of the current headlines say that they're launching an investigation, I wouldn't necessarily expect the findings to be groundbreaking.
I agree. Ain't gonna find nothing. You know how it go. Shout out to Dylan Page. It's like a global supervillain meeting. I ain't like what they got going on about 2030.
Benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ave Maria.
Now, in ancient times, when Moses ordered the system in Exodus 18 and in the book of Leviticus, you'll find that this policeman was called the high priest's servant. This thing called crime is known as sin in the Bible. When you break a law, it's called sin. You'll see the definition of that in 1 John 3:4. Then they put you in ward. Remember, Peter and the apostles were constantly being put in the dungeon. They called that, we're going to put you in ward. We're going to hold you until they can take you to the temple. And that's where the dungeon is. It's in the temple. Is that the temple here in the county? Is that where your jail's located? Then they take you into the courtroom, which in ancient times is called the holy place, before the high priest. How do your judges dress out here? Do they all dress in dresses? That's a little strange, don't you think? But that's an important symbol. You see, he's wearing the holy linen ephod, which was white or red. This guy's got the color right. Lurking for Satan, he's got the black linen ephod, and he's going in there to enforce the Roman civil law, the Uniform Commercial Code, at the altar, which is called the bench. And he sits on the altar, and you approach the altar through the veil. The fellow who takes you in there, the lawyer, is called the intercessor. For those of you that are Catholics, you understand how Mary is the intercessor, and you can't go pro se to the throne of grace boldly. You've got to go with Mary to offer a prayer. And in a civil action to this day, it's called a prayer for relief. And who are you praying to? Aren't you praying to the high priest, who finds you guilty of sin and levies upon you, a sinner, a sin offering, which in ancient times was a ram of the first year. You see, under the common law we deal in property, under the civil law we deal in choses and action. It's still the same system, except that we've changed the names, you see. That way it's not religious. Now, after the heave offering, if you don't like this, you could appeal this to the Holy of Holies. You appealed this to Aaron the high priest, and you did this once a year in the Holy of Holies. This was called the Levitical priesthood. Today we call it the civil service.
The distractions are going absolutely wild right now. More humiliation coming. So we'll start with on the ground first with these celebrities, and then we'll go to the sky. Shannon Sharpe has been their go-to lately, and I really wonder what team he's on. Do y'all think it was really an accident when he went live doing that certain stuff a couple months back? It wasn't. It was distracting you, just like now the lawsuit that's coming out. These people genuinely all know each other. Him, the OnlyFans people, all of them. But there's a lot of big things going on, and that's why they're distracting you. It's that time of year again for Will Smith. It's the humiliation scenario. You get what I'm saying? Why in the world would he do stuff like this on his own free will? You get it, Will? Nobody in their right mind's doing that for no reason. This one's crazy because you know who this is, right? And who is this? Oh, it's David Beckham. Where is he at these days? Wake up. It's a club and you are not in it. And most of the people are all in the same club. They just act like they're not. And I really hate to say it that way, but think about it. Why would him or nobody else speak up when this stuff was going on? But what exactly are they distracting us from? Oh, that's right. The bigger distraction. Look where this was happening. That's weird, right? Y'all know what just happened here, right? And allegedly, these things are coming back. They have all been warning you this whole year. Part of their job is to make sure that you know what's coming subconsciously. Why? Ask the Satanist.
Yeah, I peeped that sign with his hands. Shout outs to Real Moon Henry. I agree, it's just one big distraction. The world is just a stage.
Homeless and fentanyl, California is different energy. The politics purge. What are we talking about?
Lancaster is facing some heat for what he said at a council meeting and how to handle the homeless issue. He suggested give them all fentanyl.
He spoke to Fox 11 about those comments. First, here's what he said.
On the news?
But talking about homeless, it sounds like you want to kind of enclose all these homeless people in one territory. And I don't.
What I want to do is
and I don't think
free fentanyl. I mean, that's what I want to do.
Do what?
I want to give them free fentanyl. You know?
I can't understand what you're saying. You want to get them what?
I want to give them all the fentanyl they want. That's what I want.
Mayor Rex Paris also says he believes the people of Lancaster stand by him. There's a reason why he's been elected 6 times.
I'm assuming you're talking about a meeting that occurred over a month and a half ago, where we were attempting to move the homeless population to a abandoned golf course and use it as a camping ground. And the people that lived near it were obviously not happy with it.
Why not build houses?
During the course of the meeting,
what?
I think I did say
from
that
all you billionaires,
if it were up to me, I'd be giving them fentanyl. But I made it very clear I was talking about the criminal element that were let out of the prisons that have now become 40 to 45% of what's referred to as the homeless population. There is nothing that we can do for these people. Quite frankly, I wish the president would give us a purge, because we do need to purge these people. Now, is it harsh? Of course it's harsh. But it's my obligation as the mayor of the city of Lancaster to protect the hardworking families that live there. And I am no longer able to do it.
Now, I understand that doesn't mean that's happening, but he said that? You know, a wise man once told me, why you surprised? When something happens, they warned you they said that. Do you understand what they're saying? Because you don't have money and homeless, you deserve to be purged. Do you understand that energy? Oh my God. Oh my God. And y'all say we're crazy talking about 2030 and 2050, which are Depop's agendas. Yo! Hey, hey, go buy your trinkets, guys. Go watch that Black Mirror. Keep me guys. Yeah. Homeless and fentanyl.
Yeah, at first I just thought he was being a wise ass. But what he said in the interview, he wished there was a purge. Yo, that was pretty creepy. And like Toxic said, yo, they'll tell you to your face, don't ever give up on the homeless. Always show them love.
Bush is one of the most heinous criminals that's ever walked on the face of the earth. Bush is the man who's been a CIA agent since his college days. He's a member of the Skull and Bones, the Russell Trust. He was initiated in a casket with a ribbon tied around his genitalia, which symbolizes that he's a priest in the temple of Isis. A pagan, this guy. This man is a member of the mystery schools.
Well, he has the outward appearance of a good Christian, church-going Christian, no?
They do whatever they have to be approved by the people, but in secret, they're not at all. This is a man who practices pagan, religious rituals, magic. Doesn't matter what you think of all these things. I'm just telling you, this is what he does in secret.
Mm-hmm.
He is the man who, when he was chief executive officer, when he was president of the offshore division of Zapata Oil, organized and began the first large-scale drug smuggling operations into this country. George Bush is the one responsible for the drugs on the streets. And the war against drugs is not a war against drugs, it's a war against the Bill of Rights. We've already lost the Fourth Amendment in this war.
In 1899, Nikola Tesla believed he had intercepted a message from the stars. He was experimenting with a high-frequency receiver, an early design for long-range radio transmission. But what came through wasn't static. It was patterned, repetitive. Tesla believed it was artificial. A signal, not from Earth. Decades later, other radio operators reported hearing something similar. Bursts of unexplained transmissions, unmapped frequencies. It didn't stop there. In 1954, newspapers across the U.S. reported that the Air Force had detected 2 satellites orbiting Earth. But at the time, no country on Earth had the capability to launch anything into space. Sputnik wouldn't launch for another 3 years. So what were they tracking? The object was dark. It moved in a polar orbit, something impossible with the propulsion systems of the time. Polar orbits aren't designed for communication. They're built for surveillance. The object didn't match any known satellite, and it didn't respond to any known frequency. Some dismissed it as misidentified debris. Others called it ancient. It would later be named the Black Knight satellite. But long before that, there was another reference. Stranger, older. A quatrain attributed to Nostradamus spoke of a machine in the heavens sent by the Watchers, rediscovered by man, and feared for what it would reveal. Whether that's prophecy or coincidence, it's hard to ignore how closely the language fits. A machine in orbit, not ours, waiting to be found. In 1998, during the STS-88 space shuttle mission, astronauts photographed something that shouldn't have been there. A large, irregular object hanging in low Earth orbit, angular, black. NASA labeled it a piece of insulation that had come loose. But the image is clear. It doesn't look like debris. It looks designed. No nation has claimed it. No origin has been traced. Some believe it's been up there for thousands of years. A probe, a relic, a piece of ancient technology left behind to observe us. A satellite from the Watchers.
Yo, that's crazy. I never heard of the Black Knight. Chilling in low Earth orbit. Shoutouts to Chasing the Body. 1988, that's not too far away. That's crazy. What if everything we knew about the moon was a lie?
New world simulation. I come from the Paroma with the real God.
Okay.
I know who the real God is. They tricked us. They stole 4,000 years from us.
They did? How did they do that?
5,000.
We might need the handheld, Nate, for a little bit of this interview. We'll just wait, but you might need to be on it. So you're telling me on...
It's 5,006.
I know you're here trying to act because you're probably...
I'm not acting.
You're acting.
What the acting for?
Yeah, and you know...
Stop playing on me.
And I know you're trying...
They like me like the prison.
Yeah, no,
my body in prison, gang.
I know this game because, listen, I'm mentally ill, too. So
I'm not mentally ill, gang.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's spirits. Mentally ill spirits. You can cure those. All you got to do is them lying. That's what I want.
When you look at a Freemasonry organization, it has adepts at the top, and it starts at a 3rd degree York Rite, the old mystical system, versus the Scottish Rite, which is 33rd degree. And everybody else below is just sort of camouflage. And they don't know the true secrets. They don't get told the true allegories. And their goal is to bring in the end time and to wipe humankind from the face of the earth so that we don't reach our destiny to be raised up to be like angels. You know, the handshakes that Freemasons have comes from the Essenes.
Oh, wow.
It may be slightly variant, but it's rooted, and they take that history back to their relationship with the Essenes through the Knights Templars. And so it's a long sort of history. Essenes are the first Western branch of the ascetic monasteries of Hinduism. The Kabbalist is a sister branch of the Essenes, but from the Eastern mysticism that's begat by Nimrod and the Magi after Babel, versus the Egyptian mysticism that comes with Ham and Hermes to Egypt. And then you have some other groups that are in the Middle East operating with the Essenes and the Kabbalists, which are like the Sabians and the Mandaeans, and they are all different sects of this Judaic mysticism at that time. And Josephus writes about the Essenes. He understood them, and he wrote about their belief systems, their very ascetic lifestyle. But the important thing that he wrote about is who they worshipped. And they worshipped fallen angels. And they would not give up the names of those angels even upon death and torture. And that's where they say they received most of their knowledge from. So if they're responsible for writing some of the Dead Sea Scrolls, you know, those are not monotheist doctrines.
So they trying to allow teachers to put their hands on students. They are trying to pass an executive order to allow teachers to discipline bad students. If this somehow get passed, it's gonna be bad as fuck. And I'm gonna give y'all the reasons, but hold up. If I was a student still and a teacher decided to put their hands on me, it's up. I'm telling you, it's on site. I'ma spaz the fuck out. They want to allow teachers to do this. This ain't no fucking Matilda. This is why it will be bad. These YNs now, they don't give a fuck about anything. It's going to be bad if a teacher decide to touch the wrong YN. We already got enough school incidents. We don't need no more school incidents. And the way these kids' brains now, it's going to be a fucking rise in that shit. And you mean to tell me they would take away the ability for parents to discipline a child, but they want to allow a teacher to do it? Make it make sense, y'all. But Zay, these kids are bad nowadays. I understand all that, but that's besides the point. You knew what you was getting into when you became a teacher. The kids act the way they act now because they decided to take the rights away from parents to discipline them. So the kids, knowing the parents can't discipline them, they act up. And you think you're going to be able to discipline them? You got to be out your damn mind.
He ain't lying one bit. Shout out to Zay Reacts. He ain't lying. These YNs are crazy. Another good point he made is that the parents can't do nothing with these kids. Can't control them, can't discipline, but they're gonna let the teachers do it? Good luck.
I'm gonna make this brief. As some of y'all know, I don't believe there's any fuel in planes. But once again, I noticed something. So as y'all know, I'm gonna show y'all my receipts. Now y'all check this out and y'all tell me what you think. Now, first, I'm going to show you how much fuel, how many gallons, 5,000, they're telling you is burned during takeoff. Then I'm going to show you something so ridiculous that they got to be lying. Oh, I got their ass now. See what we got here. Well, this might seem like a large number on a flight carrying... Okay, takeoff is the most fuel-intensive aspect of each flight, with the aircraft burning up to 5,000 gallons during the process. Okay. So as y'all can see, during takeoff, it's burning 5,000 gallons of fuel. And anybody that's an engineer, I know y'all smart engineers out there, y'all know that's a lot of heat. The combustion, the heat, the amount of fumes that's coming out, the fumes, the heat, I mean, it's got to be immense, right? Right. I mean, I would think so. So y'all got to explain something to me. Peep game, 5,000 gallons. This joint's about to turn around 5,000 gallons of fuel It's about to burn it off. Don't let your brain shut down. Everybody's packing in behind here because this is what we do. You know, when our tiny little cars are in our garage, burning a little bit of gas, we know to keep that open. But when this is burning 5,000 gallons of jet fuel, we get behind it with our phones. 5,000 gallons. We're not going to feel any immense heat from all this combustion. So we can all be right there while it's burning all this fuel. We got our cameras ready to be blasted with 5,000 gallons of jet fuel. Look at her hair blowing back. Look at how far that, it's burning fuel. Look, it's blowing her back. Do you have any idea the amount of heat, pressure, fumes, chemical? Look. Y'all really think fuel? Fuel. Look at the pressure. Look. It's blowing people off the beach. Where is the heat? These people don't got shirts on. It's burning 5,000 gallons of fuel, blowing out heat like that. Pressure, look at that. It's going all the way across the ocean. Why aren't these people getting burned? They should have chemical burns. They shouldn't be able to breathe.
Wow, what a great point. They wouldn't be able to breathe, let alone be scorched. Shout outs to Piper Miller 31. 5,000 gallons of fuel is a lot. It's really hard to believe.
We are so screwed. We as in y'all. Explain that in a minute. So tell me why AI can track your exact physical location by a picture now. Where was this picture taken? Give me coordinates. The AI literally thought for 1 minute and 2 seconds and gave exact approximate coordinates. The shot was taken on 18-hole Esther Park Golf Course in Esther Park, Colorado. You in the house, you're not safe. Hold on. Now we're gonna find out who comments prematurely. Nope. To prove it wasn't metadata and EXIF, they ran a test. Someone took a screenshot of the image, therefore bypassing all metadata, and asked a different AI the same exact question. And they got the same exact answer, no metadata, even to the coordinate, that the coordinate was 40 by 105. It was able to tell which mountain range was in the back. Y'all don't even understand how intelligent this artificial intelligence is, and it blew my mind when everyone was so open to having it. Especially when movies showed us the exact situation. And if we know now it's been around for a very long time, look at this fortune. Blank surveillance and AI tools for tracking and ranking. These people need to know how those people will use AI. Oh, you can't get me because I'm sitting in my house. Well, guess what? They can even find you inside of your house. Again, you have no idea how intelligent these things really are. Come on now. I mean, are you not aware that these AIs have been tracking and coordinating and creating grids that we live in to know exactly where we are and why we are? Almost like they're monitoring spirits, you know, demons around us all the time. Oh wait, that's exactly what it is. And finally, the reason that y'all are screwed, or some of y'all are screwed, is because when the androids come around everybody up and end this life as we know it, we're not worried about this place. Dare I say, we're excited to leave? And if you're not, then hopefully that's not you.
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you check this one right here. Thanks again. Till next time.